Hello and welcome to another Punters Guide. The flat really is cranking up again. Now looking forward to some Guineas trials at Newbury this weekend, which Jason Weaver will preview for us shortly, and a big handicap as well. But we've had the Craven meeting this week at Newmarket. Jason, anything that caught your eye? There were some real nice performances.
Yeah, there were, and there were a couple of shake-ups, especially the girls, wasn't it? Mama's girl for the 1,000 guineas. She was a big climber up that particular ladder to around about 7-1. Would it have had some of the top fillies quaking in their boots just yet? I'm not sure. I think that's the same with August Rodin at the top of the market for the 2,000 guineas at the moment. I have to say, I've been lucky enough. I was at Kempton. And the one that struck me as a really good horse is Slip of the Pen for His Majesty the King. I just thought that was such a good performance. Whether he goes to the 2,000, I don't know. So, keep your powder dry bit. He might be a St James's Palace horse. That's a possibility. Two horses from Newmarket. Ottoman Fleet, definitely one to keep on the right side of. I think the maiden, Canberra Legend, he's probably going to turn up, I would imagine, in the Dante. Could he be a dark horse for the Derby?
It may be a good week for James Ferguson. Talking of the Derby, we've got a couple in the first at Newbury, the 130. You were second and third a couple of years ago. Hurricane Lane and Mojo Star. And your old mate Max Vegas in here as well. Great way to start Saturday's card.
Yeah, it's a cracking contest. Obviously, Max Vega won last year. He then won at the tail end in the St Simon. That form is represented again with Grand Alliance, who was back in behind. Isra, you remember him? He bolted up at Doncaster off 99, went into the November handicap, punted off the boards, ran no race whatsoever. So any move for the Gosden runner, I'd be keeping a very, very close eye on him. But it's that form that you talked about. Lone Eagle, second in an Irish Derby behind Hurricane Lane. Hurricane Lane, after that Derby success, won the St Ledger. Mojo Star has been a superstar. Will he get rid of the second baton tag, if you like, and go and step forward for Ammo Racing? I think, in all honesty, you'd be hard pushed to look away from Hurricane Lane, wouldn't you? I think that I'm going to give him a throw-out season last year. Soft ground, 1.5 miles. Might look like he's beat at the top of the straight, but he will power home.
There we are, keeping the faith then with Hurricane Lane in the opener. The boys in blue versus Ammo Racing. We saw it at Newmarket plenty. This week there are plenty of winners between them. Take each other on the first, and they could be in the second as well. The boys in blue got Bridestones, Jonathan Thady Gosden, Ammo Racing doubly represented after taking a couple of classic trials already this week. Yeah,
and probably the top one of theirs, it's hard to pick between a Magical Sunset or Olivia Maralda, but Roger Varian's horses not really been firing, have they, at the moment? They've been sort of slightly under the radar, whereas the Hannon team are having a really good run at present. She managed to win a listed race here over course and distance at the back end. The two that really jump out for me, Bridestones and Remarky down the bottom. Now, Remarky's Salisbury win, remember she's a half-sister to Scope, who was a real good stayer. Scope, though, was by Teofilio. She's by Kingman, which gives her a bit more zip, a bit more pace. But the horse she beat now rated in the mid-90s. And in all honesty, had to give away a massive penalty on racecourse debut for Remarky to win. I was there at Yarmouth when Bridestones won. She looked pretty decent. The Damn White Moonstone was a Group 1 Fillies Mile winner. It's got a wonderful pedigree. I think it's interesting that Buick gets a leg up as well. We know it's Godolphin, but they're a pretty formidable combination. She could be the answer to a tricky duty-free. The Fred Darling, is this going to provide a shake-up like Mama's Girl did in the Nell Gwyn?
Yeah, it's quite a murky picture, isn't it? The 1,000 guineas and the trials made it a little bit muddier. What about the Greenham then? Because Indestructible, very impressive in the Craven. Twice saw the back end of Chaldine, long odds-on favourite. Can he put a marker down as a classic hero?
Yeah, he's a fascinating runner. Can you believe it's the first horse or the first time Andrew Balding had the Juddmonte team in his yard and he's turned up with Chaldine? That is fantastic. He answered every question. He went all the way through the gears. Jim Crowley, after coming in after the Dewhurst, was fizzing. He really thought he should have won on Royal Scotsman. Should I believe him, or was it just a beaten jockey thinking that, he should have gone and won another Group 1? That makes me think that the form might have a little bit of wriggle room for something to improve past him. And you remember Knight last year did us a favour after winning the Horace Hill. The Crisford team have set off really well. They've been second in a World Cup. They've had lots of decent runners. Poker Face has gone close. So the team are bubbling under without actually winning. The fact he's won over course and distance, he stays well. 7 furlongs, this is an ideal prep for him. Look, he's got about, what are we looking at? £12 on official ratings to find, but they change so much throughout the winter, and he might just have the required improvement. Chaldine, red hot favourite and tight towards the top of the Guineas. I think we're going to have a shake-up here, though. Knight could be the answer.
Knight, then, yeah, one at the track consented as a favourite at 10-1 in the Horace Hill. Right, the big betting race at Newbury is the Spring Cup. A bit of a disappointing turnout, just the 14. We've got the Irish Lincoln winner and some of the also-rans in the Doncaster Lincoln locking arms.
Yeah, I think, when you go down through it, it's a hot race. William Haggish was moaning to me up at Newmarket at the Craven meeting. The Irish handicapper put his horse up £5 for winning a pixel at the Curragh. He thought that was very, very tough indeed. But surely, had he got out earlier, he would have won very, very easily, wouldn't he? So, look, he's an easy place to start. I think that Latam will take a world of beating. The one who sort of comes off the page at me and didn't give his running, there was a big shout for Toymy's son of David Minucier's at Doncaster. Ran no race whatsoever. Very, very disappointing and flattened out. Now, it was the first run for the team. They back him up quickly here, a race that they were second in last season behind Modern News. Minucia, who's he booked? Oisin Murphy. He could have had the handle on probably 4 or 5 in this particular lineup, but his agent has gone with the Minucia runner. So Toymy's son is the each-way play. I think Latam will win.
Oh, that's the Spring Cup, the 4th and final ITV race at Newbury this weekend. What will be your ever strongest bet on the card on Saturday?
Be pretty boring, but I think that Hurricane Lane, that form, I'm going to give him the cross out last year. He wants a bit of dig in the ground. That's absolutely key for him. Newbury, we've got that fresh ground at the moment, bit of moisture in it. Forecast to be soft, slightly drying, but it will suit him. He's the real class act on the card.
And of course, he escapes all the penalties. So that's Newbury. Thanks to Jason for looking at that for us. It's a good mix, though, of flat and jumps on ITV this weekend with the Scottish Grand National. Let's hear from Jonjo O'Neill JR, though, on the Scottish Champion Hurdle. And, of course, he's got the favourite in the big one itself. So, John, from the Grand National to the Scottish Grand National meeting, we've got a Scottish Champion Hurdle first. I know it's a horse you like, Soaring Glory. What are his chances this weekend?
Yeah, he's had a stop-start season, to be honest. He didn't really like chasing, and he was very heavy ground on New Year's Eve. Actually went quite well. He's been fresh all through the spring, and we always had this in the back of our mind, to be honest. He's slowly dropping down the handicap, but he has been paying penalties for what he's done the last couple of years. So we're looking forward to running him. But yeah, he's going to need to improve on what he's been showing recently.
Monbeg Genius, then, obviously, the current Ramble form looks pretty special now. Has he got the right profile coming into this type of race?
Yeah, I suppose he does. Novice improving away. He has improved, I think, about £21 since he started chasing this year. So that's plenty. And whether the handicapper is just catching up with him, I suppose we'll find out. His run at Cheltenham was very good, though. Obviously, Corrie win the national last week. He probably wouldn't want the ground too fast. He wants slight ease in the ground. So just hoping, they're putting plenty of water on and hopefully it gets a shower of rain maybe Friday night or Saturday morning.
He's had the extra week to recover from Cheltenham. How's he come out of the festival?
Yeah, come out of it very well. So we've been happy that way. And hopefully he'll turn up into a national horse next year. But being a novice, etc., he didn't have the required run this year. But I suppose he's entitled to take his chance in a good one.
And you mentioned that. I mean, novices do have a good record in this race. Has this been the target? Have you been really taken about by his improvement this season?
Yeah, we always thought he would improve for chasing this year. He was bought as a chaser. He was quite weak to start with. and he just gradually got stronger and stronger. So yeah, something like this. It was either probably like the Midlands National or this, but we decided to run in the Ultima, and he ran very well in that. But I think this has been a long-term plan, and hopefully as long as the round is on the slow side, he should run well.
And impatient in the bumper. I remember Sprinter Sacra winning this a few years ago. It'd be nice if he had another one of them on his hands.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He's a good bit to prove yet still, but he's a nice horse. He was quite green at Newcastle the first day. Had a good long break, and should go well fresh again. He'd be a really nice horse next year. He needs to fit out into his frame still, but Ronnie's Scottish obviously, and he likes to have runners up there. So we're hoping he'll run well for him.
And he got some nice chances. I mean, one more week to go of the season, but two big prizes and two decent chances. You'll be looking forward to it this weekend.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, as you say, the jump season is coming to a close soon enough, but we have a few darts to fire yet. So hopefully one of them. Well, I wouldn't mind if two of them came in, but hopefully one of them can do the business.
Thanks to Jonjo O'Neill JR for those. Let's get their thoughts on the rest of the air card then from our very own Frankie Foster.
5 races from air on ITV this Saturday, and finishing with the Scottish Grand National to round off 3 brilliant weeks of nationals with, of course, the Irish, then the English, and now the Scottish. Won last year by Christian Williams with Wing My Wings, who has Kitty's Light at the top of the market this year. But we'll talk more about that in a second. First, we'll look at the 4 races that come before the Scottish National. The first being the 1:15 2-mile handicap chase. Frere Darmé for the Skeltons tops the market, who was second when last seen at Ascot. Prior to that and prior to a break, did win his first 2 chase starts. You've got the more classy Elixir de Nuts in here, who will have to carry 11 stone 13. That's no easy job. The one I like is Return Ticket, who won this race last year and looked in as good a form as ever last time out at Carlisle. Has took a hike in the weights for that success, but still comes here off a lower mark than when winning last year. That's Return Ticket for Rebecca Menzies, a yard in good form as well. The second is the 150 3-mile handicap chase, topped by City Chief for Nicky Henderson. A horse that will have to carry 12 stone 3 miles is never an easy task, but I do think he is the one to beat, and you're right favourite. You've also got Oscar Elite in here, who was a good 5th in the Ultima, won, of course, by Correct Rambler, who went on to win the English Grand National. I think the winner comes from those top 2 in the market. I'd side with City Chief, just because he's missed Cheltenham and Aintree. He hasn't gone to a big festival. He hasn't got a hard race behind him. He should come here a little bit fresher. So City Chief, a winning favourite for me in the second race. The 2:25, the third race, the Scottish Champion Hurdle, another competitive handicap and a good betting proposition. Colonel Mustard tops the market. He's finished behind all sorts of good horses in his time. Al Fabiolo, John Bon, he was second in a more battle behind Benson. Could today be his day? Betfred ambassador Jonjo O'Neill rides Soaring Glory. Hasn't been up to his best the last twice, but if he does perform well on his day, deserves his chance. Lotus Sud for the Scoutons. Colonel Mustard was in second in the more battle. Lotus Sud was in third and comes here better off in the weights with the favourite. But the one I like is the Pornicles trained Rue Board, who I don't think we've seen the best of yet. So 135 is an attractive mark in my eyes anyway. The 3 o'clock, another chase, 2 miles 4 this time, and another favourite for Nicky Henderson in Balco Coastal, who was disappointing at the festival but does have that good bit of form with Jerry Colombe, who was obviously very impressive when winning at Aintree. So more intertwining Cheltenham Festival form. That's All Right Gino, your second favourite, was second to Stage Star, who won the Turners, beating Balco Coastal. See how you want to weigh that one up and how forgiving you are for Balco Coastal's festival run. That's All Right Gino was pulled up at the festival. Didn't have a hard race though, pulled up early enough to maybe warrant coming here a little bit fresher than the favourite. You've also got Thunder Rock in here, representing the McNeil family, who have quite a few runners at Ayr on Saturday. And an unexpected runner at Ayr from Henry de Bromhead in Tell Me Something Girl. She was smart over hurdles, yet to really show her best ever fences, but on her 3rd time of trying, today could be her day. That's a real competitive 2.5 mile chase. And then we reach the Scottish National at 3:35. Top of the market, Kitty's Light, who won the Ida Chase for Christian Williams and has been hyped up in the weights, but still comes here off a lower mark than when a good second last year to Wing My Wings. You know Kitty's Light will stay. You know that horse will be in the mix come the finish. Not much of a price, but if you wanted to have a soft each way bet, I think you'd at least get your monies back on the favourite. Betfred ambassador Jonjo O'Neill rides Monbeg Genius, joint favourite at the current time. I'm looking at this, was third in the Ultima. Again, we're talking about Corach Rambler, who went on to win the National. Can Monbeg Genius do the same in the Scottish National? He doesn't come here as well handicapped as Corach did going to the English National, but if he gets the trip, deserves his shot. The Grand National winning duo, Lucinda Russell and Derek Fox, are represented by Your Own Story and Melina Girl for Gavin Cromwell. That's a trainer I always look out for on English or UK, soil, especially in a handicap. If you wanted one at a bit of a price, I might be having a look at Man of the People for the inform trainer Fergal O'Brien, or Empire Steel, who chased down Lemilos late on at Kelso last time out. Lemilos obviously won the Hennessy and finished, at least, saw the Grand National out. So that would be Empire Steel for Sandy Thompson at a bit more of a price. But Kitty's Light, I think, so your right favourite. Best of luck if you're having a bet. As always, gamble responsibly and enjoy some brilliant jumps racing and the Scottish Grand National this Saturday.